започнем с втората част на днешния семинар. Тук, както обикновено на всяко събитие, черешката на тортата е оставена за накрая. Тук теоретичните постановки ще бъдат много кратки, демонстрациите практически ще бъдат това, което ще ни покажат експертите от Ковънтри. Най-вече това, което се работи в Института за сериозни игри. Приложенията, които ще видите, или казано така на сленги, вече приеста този термин апове, са тяхна разработка. Аз изкушавам още сега да кажа, че това, което те показват за този момент и това, което ще видим, е голям шанс за нашите студенти, т.е. за вас, защото тези, които сте тук, вие ще ходите, също хората от преподавателския състав на университета, от административния персонал, да работят в такава среда, защото колкото и да се стреми нашия университет, не може да създаде тези лаборатории толкова бързо. Това е период на дълги инвестиции, на дълга работа. Така че нашето сътрудничество с Ковънтри University Enterprises в голяма степен цели точно това. Нашите студенти да имат това, което има най-добрия студент. Вие видяхте класации, те си ги показаха, аз вчера споменах къде стои университета в Ковънтри, винаги в класациите. Затова след техните демонстрации те ще бъдат достатъчно провокативни, т.е. аз може би няма смисъл да вземам думата, задавайте въпроси. Искам още нещо само да кажа по-ясно, защото може би се разбра. Тези от вас, които участват тук в семинара активно, това е групата, която ще пътува по проекта. Имаме 2 визити на Ковънтри, т.е. групите са 2. Така че не някаква специална селекция, а истинската, реалната, действаща в момента селекция. Това искам също да имате предвид. Okay, again.
Okay. Can everyone hear me at the back? Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to run through some examples of products, applications that we've actually developed. I left you at the point of explaining our app competition. This is something that we run every year. This is the 4th year we run this. Again, it could be a model that the university here could replicate. And what it does, it allows all staff and students to give an idea in and get it developed. As you can see, we offer 5,000 English pounds to each idea, and that allows us to develop the application fully. There are a few criteria attached to that. One of those is that it has to be an application that is chargeable, so it's not, there needs to be a revenue model there, so it earns revenue. And also, it needs to be an original and unique idea, obviously. So the first one was an application that was all about cooking and recipes, specifically for sports. So one of our lecturers was called Ricardo Costa, great man, studied nutrition and physical activity, and he developed a series of recipes and diets for athletes. So this was for professional sports people. He'd already written a book, so the actual book existed, and he was looking for new channels to push out his information, and he thought that a mobile application was the way to go. So we worked with Ricardo to transfer all of his material into a digital format. Then we designed the framework of the application. We also embedded videos of him talking about these recipes, and we launched it to the iTunes store. I think this is probably about 2 years ago now, so the UI design has moved on. That's why it looks a little bit dated already. Maybe it needs a refresh, but we'll see. I'm going to show you the actual app after I finish the presentation. I'm going to connect my iPad and I can show you all of these applications as they work. So this was through the app competition, he presented his idea. Brайън and I decided to take it forward, and it was funded from the Higher Education Innovation Fund. So that is a fund that Brайън and his team manage, and it's specifically for innovation and technology. So in each of these slides, I've just added down the right-hand side a reminder of the process at a very high level. And we had a chance to talk to some of you during the break. And again, I think we'll reinforce the point. It's identifying a need. So there's a saying in English, necessity is the mother of invention. So if you identify a need, that means that you need to provide a solution for the problem. So we make sure that the solution meets the market demand. So we always need to make sure we're developing something that fulfills the demand from the market. And it's not just an idea we have in our head and say, this is going to be great because I think so. You need to have that market feedback. And then we can commercialize the product. The second application I'm going to show you on my device is called PASS for short. This is completely different to the first one. This is digital sound processing. So this is a very simple application that takes the ambient sound, the surrounding noise, and it changes it and applies filters and effects to it. So a bit more of a toy, a bit more of a gimmick. But again, this was developed by someone who's very prominent in the field of DSP, digital sound processing. It was designed by us completely. So one of my guys came up with this look and feel. And this is actually on the store at the moment, and it's getting quite a few downloads in the UK, especially among people that are in the music and electronic music field. So again, just to reinforce the point, we identified the need, we created a solution that met that market demand, and then we commercialised the product. I also just want to go back to something that Soizik talked about, and that's usability and getting the voice of the customer. And that's very important. Because as I said, if you've got an idea and you just think it's great because you thought of it, it doesn't mean it's going to sell. So you really need to get some market feedback at some point. Now that is difficult because you don't want to give your idea away. So the challenge is to try and find an exercise, a process, a way that you can get some feedback from your potential users without giving them too much information and risking the protection of your own idea. So the kind of things that we do are focus groups. So we may try and identify 10, 15 potential users of our application, and then we may show them the prototype. So you know earlier I showed you the piece of software that allows you to map out the user journey. Maybe you could just share that with your focus group. So the idea is to get some comments back from them. Yeah, no, I love it, I hate it. It's all useful information.
Could we upload a video audio file instead of recording a new one?
Say that again, sorry.
Could we upload a reading audio file with this application instead of recording a new one? Because I'm interested in this kind
Oh, this one in particular?
Yes, yes.
Oh, this one. I don't think it records at the moment. It's just a live sound processing file. I can let you have a go if you like. I've got my headphones, so you can try it out. Yeah.
Hi. I want to ask, if I understood correctly that PASS at the moment is not downloaded all the time?
Say that again, sorry.
Is PASS downloaded?
Download. Yeah, it's on iTunes at the moment. Yeah. So.
But is it downloaded a lot or not yet? As
Oh, the number of downloads.
I mean, is it expected when you launched it?
Hasn't really been promoted yet, so the marketing is very, very new, literally finished in the last few weeks. So we don't know yet how popular it's going to be. But it's important to think about promotion, marketing, and the channels to reach out to people. The second set of case studies, again, moving to a different sector, is around the work we do in healthcare. So in the UK, we have a national health service called the NHS, and we work with our sister institute, HDTI. Soizik talked about that earlier and she showed you the pictures. That is our sister institute that is involved in working in assisted living products and healthcare. And we worked with them, again, to fulfill a need within hospitals. So this is Liverpool Women's Hospital. Everyone heard of Liverpool?
Yes.
Yeah, Beatles, funny accent, yeah. These guys had a need for an application for the new doctors, so we call them junior doctors. They started in the hospital, big hospital, lots of rooms. Much like students, when you start on your first day, you don't know where to go, you're not sure of the time. So this application is purely for the new doctors, and it has some information in there. So it's got the hospital handbook, tells them all about the rules and regulations of the hospital. It's got guidelines from the National Health Service, the guidelines they need, regulations they need to follow. It's got a session log, which allows them to log their attendance. And it also allows them to evaluate themselves and their performance, which is very important. So again, this application is available to download, but it's purely for that group of doctors. So although it's free, it has a PIN code when you download it. So if you try to download it, you can have it on your phone, but it won't work. You need the code. So we're using the Google Play and the iStore to provision our apps for free, basically. So we're using them as a mechanism to get our apps out there. So again, they had a need. They didn't know how to reach out to the new doctors, because much like students actually, the doctors have not arrived yet, so you can't give them too much information and you can't prepare them well. So this fulfills the need. The solution meets what the doctors need, because we ran a focus group before we started to find out what was important for them. And then we created the product. Again, staying with healthcare, this is a health visiting service in Birmingham, which is the town I'm from. The health visiting service is where support workers visit people in their homes. Maybe if you've just had a baby, or maybe if you have an operation, then someone visits you in your home. And the need here was, again, to find a channel to push information out. What these guys used to do was create leaflets, papers, or even small little key rings with laminated information. And they realised that this was a far better and far more effective channel for their information and for their material. And again, I'll show you this one on my device. So, need, solution, and then we commercialised the product. So that's the formal part of the presentation out of the way. What I'm going to do now is just swap over to this device, and I'm going to show you those applications actually running on here. So if there's any questions or you want to ask as you have been, please just interrupt me. Okay, so remember I mentioned right at the beginning, what is a serious game, what is an applied game. This is an example of that. It's a very basic game. It uses games theory and games principle to help companies in China. So this is a project that we were involved in. We created this, and it's called the China IPR SME Help Desk. So it's for Chinese, it's for companies wanting to engage with China, and how do they do that, and what's the process. So you'll see straight away it's got that games kind of feel to it. You see credits. Very good, very good. So that straight away, that's one of the gamification principles that we talked about earlier. So it's scoring, it's leaderboards, rewarding people for their performance. Okay, so remember I mentioned right at the beginning, what is a serious game, what is an applied game. This is an example of that. It's a very basic game. It uses games theory and games principle to help companies in China. So this is a project that we were involved in. We created this, and it's called the China IPR SME Help Desk. So it's for Chinese, it's for companies wanting to engage with China, and how do they do that, and what's the process. So you'll see straight away it's got that games kind of feel to it. You see credits. Very good, very good. So that straight away, that's one of the gamification principles that we talked about earlier. So it's scoring, it's leaderboards, rewarding people for their performance. So much like any other game, it gives you instructions and explains to you what you need to do and what the aim of the game is. So as you work your way through the process, so add your name into Aussie. So personalisation is also another gamification principle. Even at the very basic level, adding someone's name and then having their name appear personalises the experience. So so you as a new company, you answer the questions first. So just tick anyone. And then if you start the game. Yeah. So as you can see, it begins by asking you questions, and you've got a very basic environment that you can navigate around well. And as my colleague mentioned, in the top right, you have a score, or in this case, it's a value, and the aim is to engage with as many businesses as possible, find partners, and work through the process of protecting your intellectual property. So, very, very valuable game, a valuable resource that teaches the process. Any questions about that? Anyone? The purpose is? Does it look engaging? Does it look like something you'd want to play? Or, yeah? Maybe? If you had a spare 5 minutes, yeah? Okay. I'm going to show you quite a few applications. There's a few that I've been asked to show you. There's some that I've mentioned before. So I'll run through them very quickly. The first one, it's quite an interesting one. It's an app for visitors to a town called Stratford-upon-Avon, which is where Shakespeare comes from. You're familiar with Shakespeare's work? Yeah. So this particular project was funded by the Technology Strategy Board. Technology Strategy Board is an independent organisation in the UK that funds technology projects. So we were the technical partner. We created this application. So it's designed for visitors to the area. It gives them information about the local surroundings, the services that are available, but it also tells them about Shakespeare, his life, where he lived, and the work that he created. There's also some additional features in the app. that uses augmented reality, which is quite a new term of technology that allows you to place a virtual asset in a real view. Has anybody come across this before? Yeah? Augmented reality. It's been around for a while. Unfortunately, I haven't got the trigger for this particular app, but I can show you some others that have got it.
In Maps, you can choose from one of 4 period maps of the town. Hit the I button to see me outside must-see sites in Stratford, to visualise my last home, new place, or the site where it once stood, or to create your own souvenir photograph. You can also use the I button to scan special QR tags or to spy each site from the tower of the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. Info gives you tips on where to eat, drink and shop in Stratford. And all good tours end in the shop. Here you'll find a range of tempting souvenirs to take home. You can choose me as your guide or swipe to see my fellow guides. The app is designed to be flexible so you can always choose someone else at any time.
I think you get the idea on that one. So, as I said, different tabs along the bottom that give you information about the area. There's some mapping in there that allows you to look at Shakespeare's birthplace, for example. And there's also audio within each of those.
This is my birthplace.
I'm just going to jump to another one because I'm conscious of time, so won't dwell too much on that one.
Колеги, молбата ми е да покажа това, което правят в лабораторията на Института за сериозни игри във връзка с туристически атракции в Стратфорд-Нейвън, където е родното място на Шекспир и където има, знаете, голям туристически поток. Този ап, който той показа, той не го довърши като цяло, тъй като липсва тук някои елементи, за да се влезе в решената реалност. Идеята е, примерно, вие да се снимате с Шекспир, вие да се снимате с обект, който е извън реалността, в която сте. Тоест, с тези... това в момента се опитваме да демонстрираме тук, ако това стане възможно. Тези от вас, които отидат в Института за сериозни игри, ще го видят. Ето това е.
Yes, thank you. I've forgotten about that. So this allows you
Maybe to make a photo.
Yeah.
Снимай Шекспир с групата.
So it allows you to take a picture with Shakespeare in the frame, and then you can actually send it to the shop in England and get it printed in a nice frame. It's like a souvenir. That's where the money comes from. There's always a revenue stream. So maybe you can try and... That's it. Yeah. So now that picture will be in England. So sticking with the augmented reality, we do a lot of work with 3D assets. So we create 3D models, and architecture is a very, very big sector for us at the moment. So we're working very closely with a group of architects to visualize proper buildings before they're created. So using your iPad or iPhone, you can import a 3D model of a house. So you take the architect's drawings and then you create it in 3D, and you can put it in the view so you can see the property, see the building in the location. Yeah, you can use mapping software to locate it. So I don't know if you're familiar with software like Google SketchUp. Okay, in Google SketchUp you can import a model from 3ds Max or something like that, but you can also add coordinates. okay, and create what's called a KMZ file. You know that? So basically it means that you have a 3D model and also location coordinates, and then you can place the building where you want, and you can see, using your iPad, what it looks like. I'll try to demonstrate now. So if I select this model here, so you've got a house on top of your head. Okay, so I can manipulate the model, so I can move it up and down. So maybe I'll do it over here. And then I can move it round as well. And I can change the shadows if I like. Somehow. See that? It's all right now, isn't it? So that's what the model looks like without the background. And there it is with a shadow. So it's a very, very useful tool for visualizing 3D models. Very, very big growth area in the UK with this kind of software.
Can you tell us more about that money of the winner money of the serious games?
Serious game?
So if that's an idea, we have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
We're like the gazers.
You're exploding with ideas.
If that's some kind of criteria, take that money. That's the general question.
Yeah. Say that again. Do we take the...
Can we win that money?
How can you win that money?
How?
How?
Is there some kind of criteria to win that money?
In the competition I showed you was for staff and students of Kovăntri University.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to move there. I don't know maybe whether there's something that could be done here. You know, if this university can create a competition like that for you.
Professor told us that they are starting this project, and so we will be able to apply.
That's why we are here. We're trying to show the different way we do, and then if you think it's a good idea and you can see it works, so if you're very interactive and you give us a lot of ideas and you're successful and the students are come to Kovăntri, it might be something we can keep on doing. And then they might be able to set up a fund for you here. So it's up to you to make it work and to be an entrepreneur.
I'll just show you one of the other apps that I mentioned in the presentation, which is the one for Liverpool Women's Hospital. As I said, we embedded a short code, which means that the app is available for free. But if you download it and you're not involved in the process, then you can't actually use it. So much more of a modern look to this UI. And as I said, the unique element of this particular app is this session log. So this talks to the hospital's management system, and it logs the doctor's work and the hours that they work in the different parts of the hospital. So
what's the most complex?
The most complex app. I suppose there's there's two ways to define complex. There's complex UI and design, and there's also complex back end. So if it functions, yeah. I suppose it's although it doesn't look like it's something like this, because this needs to speak to a hospital IT system, so it needs to negotiate a firewall, authentication, and all this kind of security. Absolutely, absolutely. So those are the more complicated apps for us. And as I say, or if there's a very difficult user interface, or creating an interface that suits a lot of the Android devices, because, and as I say, or if there's a very difficult user interface, or creating an interface that suits a lot of the Android devices, because with Apple, you know that the iPad is this size, the iPhone is this size, and that's it. With Android, there are all different. So, absolutely, absolutely. So people can buy very, very cheap tablets, sometimes from China, and the processing power is very, very low, and it's very difficult to work with it. So we also try to specify target devices as well to the customer to make sure they get the performance that we want. So yeah, and this app also has all the guidelines embedded for the doctors that they need to know. So there's a series of list views they can go through, and they can make sure that they're up to speed on the hospital guidelines. Now this is all dynamic content, so we built a CMS system for the hospital, a content management system. So they have a web login and they can manage all the content. So nothing outside of the headings is hard coded here. It's all dynamic content, so that they have the power to change the content as they need to. So the last one I'll show you before we go to questions is this one, which is PAS. So I'll plug it into my headphones, because that's how it works. You plug in your headphones with the microphone, and it takes the ambient sound and it applies effects and filters to it. So it's a little bit of a gimmick, a little bit of a toy, but for people in the music and electronic music industry and sound processing, it's quite good. It was created, the concept came from a German guy that we've worked with called Wolfram, and he's quite big in electronic music in Germany, and that's a picture of him there, and a little bit of a bio about who he is. I really like the UI on this one, the design, it's really up to date. So if you go into this section, again we designed this whole interface to replicate an old style amplifier. So what you do is you plug your headphones in, and then you can apply these different effects to the ambient sound, and you can also create presets, so you can make it sound like a robot or a dwarf or something like that. So I'll plug my headphones in. If someone want to come and have a go? Has the sound changed? Yeah. So what's happening now is it's listening to me, and it's applying some digital effects to what you can hear. So it's changing. Does it sound like a robot now? Yeah. This one's free at the moment, yeah. So if you go on, it's on the Apple Store at the moment, iTunes, but it will be on Android soon as well. Should we throw open the floor for questions? Anyone want to ask any?
Training Center at Vardar University, and my question is, to what extent the students who give the idea take part in the whole process until the commercialization?
They're very much involved all through the process, especially at the beginning. We need to take the brief from them and decide what the product will be, but all the way through. And also it's their responsibility to make sure they promote and do the marketing, because that's very, very important. You can have the best idea, you put it out there, if there's no promotion, no PR, then it just disappears, because there are hundreds of thousands of applications, worldwide. So that is still their responsibility, and it's an important responsibility. Okay.
So, George, you rely a lot on students.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with generating ideas.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, as Soizik said earlier, it's really something that is from the top of our organisation down. So the people right at the top really support innovation, really support entrepreneurship, and that's something that we're quite well known for. So maybe in other universities, in other organisations, they don't listen too much to the people within it, but we're the opposite. We take their ideas, we support their ideas, and you know, we'll take them as far as we can go as an organisation. So we're always open to suggestions, and doors are always open to someone. I think we said yesterday, you know, what happens if it's not a good idea? You know, what do you do with the ideas that aren't too good? Well, it's normally, the decision is more based on the person and their passion for the idea. Because if someone comes to you every week with a different idea, then you say, I don't know, and then they go away and they say, oh, forget that, how about this now? You know they're not passionate, but if someone comes in and they really believe in a product and they really have a drive to deliver that idea, those are the ideas that normally go far and they normally work. So it's as much about investing in the people as well as the idea itself.
That's why you are watched as a model university or in the top.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So we're awarded the #1 modern university in the UK this year. And we're climbing up the league tables all the time, which is good. So that's why we'd like to share that knowledge and share that process and work with Varna Free to develop the ideas and also to create new ways of working as well. Blended learning is a technique that Kovăntri is very, very strong on. So that's a step on from e-learning, if you like. So it's taking content on different platforms and using multimedia to make a more rounded learning experience. So Kovăntri was one of the first to embrace this new way of working. And I can show you one of the first applications that we created that uses blended learning. So this is maybe about 3 or 4 years old now, but it is for training midwives, so nurses that help during childbirth. And this is a very, very early application that was designed to support training for an emergency in childbirth. So there's a suite of applications, so there's a set of applications. This particular one refers to shoulder dystocia. That is when during childbirth and the baby's shoulder gets caught, and that is an emergency that all midwives need to train. So we took all the training material and we put it into one application. So in here, for example, there is, this won't be the video.
Lecture 2, Fetal and Maternal.
So it's a video and PowerPoint.
Introduction.
So the idea is that the student nurse, the midwife, can take this material and they can learn it in their own time. On the bus, on the way home, in the bath, wherever they want to. So that's what we call blended learning. So it's allowing them to access the materials at a time that's best for them. We also added some animation in here. I'll show you. There's no one who's squeamish in here, is there? No, I'll show you, it's okay. So this is a 3D animation of what the process is. So this is all material for midwives. Everyone's over 18, yeah? So as I said, we developed a suite of these. So there's one for twins, there's one for breech birth, you know, when the baby's the wrong way around. And this is all just for these midwives and nurses to to learn. Yes, yeah, mandatory training. Self-test. Okay, because I'm running it on my iPad and it's an older app, it's not showing properly, but yeah. So it's just a true-false test, and if you don't answer or if you get the wrong one, it tells you what the problem is, what you got wrong. But yeah, sorry about that. It's not sizing well on my iPad for some reason. This app's probably about 3 or 4 years old now, so.
Some of the students suffer.
Yeah, we need to refresh the application. Yeah, is there anything else I can show you on that one? Some illustrations as well added in that we've done. So it's all. This is what we call bite-sized learning. So it's just specifically for this one topic, only in this app. No other information about other topics. This is the same app but for the twins. So same style, same interface, but slightly different colours, so that it all fits within the same theme.
Yeah, textbooks, like we say, for the students, and another project that is financed for our Ministry of Education, and we are putting such elements, interactive elements, like videos. So we are at the beginning, and maybe in the next year, or let me say after a few months, again this year, we will be ready with that way of teaching.
Yeah, great.
That you say blended teaching.
Yeah.
Because we have now learning, we have distance learning platforms, of course we have,
Yeah.
but these resources are now at the beginning, yes, we would like to push that tendency in the teaching process. Колеги, ако няма някакви въпроси, конкретни касаещи представянето на Института с сериозни игри и най-вече участието на студентите в този процес на генериране на идеи, прототип, проучване на пазар и така нататък, лончинг, тръгване. Още един път. Има ли въпроси? Аз мисля, че колегите по-скоро бяха впечатлени и така малко затейли дъх. I think that your presentation was so amazing.
Does anyone want to have a go on the sound?
Който иска да чуе нещо още, и аз съм сигурна, че сега като започне почивката, така една група веднага ще дойде тук. Затова ще оставим време за тази група, но преди това ще помоля Джордж и Сузи да ни помогнат да раздадеме сертификатите на участниците от лекторското си. Във връзка с това, да благодаря за възможността нашия университет, нашите студенти, нашите преподаватели и служители да се докоснат до един от най-добрите университети на света. И така, моля, тук да заповяда Ани Николова. Молбата ми е да минавате в-дясно, ето така, за да няма възгледа. Антоанета Господинова. Антонина Иванова, Атанас Атанасов, Лиляна Иванова, Благовеста Николаева, Борис Георгиев, Даниела Попова, Даяна Стойкова, Диана Тишинова, Димитър Владов, Димитър Недялов. Грешка има ли? Недялов. Няма грешка. По-рядка фамилия. Джонета Сан. Галина Милева. Гергана Желязкова. We have already friendships here organized between the lecturers and the students. Георги Куш, another Георги Вълчанов, Димитър Добрев, още един път Димитър Добрев, няма. Елис Ахмедова, Елисавета Калинова, Елиза Кракозян, Илияна Костова, Ивайло Георгиев, Ивайло Иванов, Иванка Костадинова, Иво Йосов, Калинка Михайлова, Камелия Андреева, Каролина Радева, Камелия или Каролина? Каролина. Камелия няма, така ли да разбирам? Добре. Константин Косев. Константин Якимов. Коста Стоянов. Лилия Илиева. Леонора Михайлова. Мария Влайкова. Марияна Хеврева. Мариела Койчева. Марияна Николова. Дилет Маринов. Мария Коларова. Мария Петрова. Марчела Иванова. Марчела беше съкарила. Милена Борисова. Моника Малинова. Надежда Иванова. Надя Малинова. Надя Сками. Наталия Сабочинова. Наталия Матева. Недю Василев. Николай Маринов. Петър Николов. Петър Петров. Петър Петров. Кимбовския. Петя Вълкова. Пламен Борязов. Ралица Генова. Румяна Серкеджиева. Румяна. Силвия Тодорова. Снежанка Овчарова. Соня Данчева. Соня. Стефан Стефанов. Стоян Кавдиев. Светослав Ангелов. Светослав. Теодора Иванова. Тихомир Вълчев. Тихомир Остия. Христо Шидеров. Христо Шидеров. Варсануш Карагдезян. Велина Стоянова. Василина Велева. Колеги, моля ви да ни тръгвате, ще направя едно важно съобщение. Кажете, който е навън да влезе в залата. Йоанна Гайдарова. Зара Каразлатева. Зара няма. Здравко Славов. Димова. Женя Петрова. Живко Шидеров. Така. Някой да не се е чул именно. Женя. Имат ли всички? Не. Имат 1, 2, 3 и така нататък. Моля екипа, дигат се ръце. Вземете имената на хората, които дигат ръце и всичко да си дойде на мястото. Така, това ще стане. Колегите са тук, ще се подпишат на сертификатите, ректор ще се подпише, всичко ще бъде наред. Сега, бих искала, колеги, с това да обявя края на нашия майсторски клас по дигитално предприемачество, проведен в рамките на тези 2 дни. Още един път силно да аплодираме нашите експерти. И да си кажем до следващата среща in June, I speak in English. In June, the period we'll discuss now, when it will be, maybe the 2nd week of June. In the meantime, you will work with your tutors. Some of them are here, and I'm very glad that they are here, to organize the project teams. Следващата среща се надявам в рамките на Академията Знания и иновации да бъде на 9 май. Пак тук в тази зала с гостите, експертите от Синцинати. След тях отново датите са резервирани 26-28 за нашите професори от Израел, от Бен Гурион университет. Така че тези възможности, които ние ви създаваме, вие трябва да ги използвате. Благодаря ви.